Hey, what's up everyone? It's Joe from Gadgetry Tech, and today I'm going to be talking about a literal classic, both in the product name and in the age. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Meze 99 Classics, which is a 7-year-old headphone now, as far as the original release of this model, and it retails for just over $300. So it's a pretty unique sounding and looking headphone, and just because it's older doesn't mean it is now out of date or isn't relevant in today's headphone lineup. Now, the Meze 99 Classics were sent to me for review by Meze, so I want to give a huge thanks to them for helping to support the channel, because I've been really excited to cover Meze in the past. I've listened to them at a few headphone shows, and I wanted a lot more time with them. So this is the beginning of my coverage with Meze. Now, I will have a link in the description below for APOS audio. I'm having, I don't want to say trouble, but I've had some issues with Amazon for some higher end audio purchases, and I've seen some stories online with people not necessarily getting new. It's kind of like a risk on support for buying higher end, more expensive audio. So I've been transitioning my audio reviews to use APOS audio for purchase if it's available there, because they have a really good return policy. They have a nice warranty plan, and you know you're getting something that is new in box, and it takes away a lot of the risk. So the link for there will help support the channel. I do get a small kickback with APOS. However, this review had nothing to do with them. I'm just doing it to support the channel because I do buy a lot of stuff that was not sent to me. Now, before I get into my experience with them and talk about sound quality, I want to talk about a few basics with the 99 Classics. One is the looks. This has a walnut finish. It's a real walnut headphone. And as you can tell, this has the gold accents. It is also available in silver accents. Everything else looks the same, but instead of gold, you get the silver. And on the APOS site right now, it's selling for $310. It could go up and down, but you know, we'll focus more on, I guess, what you get out of the box, and you decide when you're ready to buy if that price is worth it to you. So they use vegan leather. They don't use actual leather or cheap stuff. It actually still feels really nice. What's great about the 99 Classics, and the reason why I was still really happy about reviewing this one, is because it proves something I've been telling people for over a decade. I've been into audio, and I used to sell audio, high-end audio, I think, man, like 12, 15 years ago. It's been a while. But what I always told people is when you get into speakers, analog, that doesn't go out of date. Good sound is good sound. And as long as you like the sound, it doesn't matter if it's 20 years old or 20 days old. So I like stuff like this because it proves that statement. You can always upgrade your source gear, whatever you're plugging it into, the electronic side. But a nice analog speaker that's built well is going to stand the test of time. So to embrace that, Meze doesn't use glue anywhere. Everything on this headphone is self-serviceable. There are screws on the headband. You can take this driver apart and expose screws inside for the baffle. So the goal and the philosophy behind this is that over time, after years of ownership, if something needs to be replaced, you'll be able to do that. Now, another nice, unique thing to this 99 Classic is how symmetric everything is. There's no left and right. The jacks on the bottom determine what your left and right is. So the cable is labeled L and R, and you can choose which one you want to do. So because of that, there's no angled baffles. The drivers are completely straight. You can pick and choose, and this is all self-adjusting as well. So the whole goal is just put it on and start listening to music. This is a spring steel headband. Clamp force is on the lighter side, so it does grab your head, but it's not squeezing you like Sennheiser 560S, for example. And self-adjustment is really nice because I can literally just put it on, and as long as you line it up over your ears, you're going to get a perfect fitment every single time. Now, passive noise isolation is okay. It's going to dull down your environment sounds just a little bit, but it's not class leading at this price range. It does help enough to where if you're turning it up to a medium volume, you shouldn't really hear much of what's going on around you, even in a noisier environment. So they rate them at 15 hertz to 25,000 hertz, so a really wide frequency response. There is roll-off once you go below 30 hertz. I'll talk about sound quality more, but either way, that's the rating they give you. Now, this is 103 decibel rating with 32 ohm impedance. That means they're extremely sensitive. Now, the nature of these are very, very easy to drive. So I'm going to say this now because this is going to lead up into my sound quality. These do not scale well with expensive equipment, which to me is a good thing in this price range. You can get a $10 Apple dongle that plugs into your iPhone, or the USB-C version that plugs into a laptop or computer, and get amazing sound on these. You don't have to spend a lot of money on source gear. So some other headphones benefit better from more power. So even if you're looking at a $300 headphone, when you add in a $100 amp or a $200 amp DAC stack, your price starts to creep up more. Whereas these just honestly just work right out of the box. You can get almost the same experience regardless of your gear. So I wanted to mention that because just being able to drive this very loudly off your phone is huge. The recommended input is 30 milliwatts and the max is rated for 50. That means literally something like an Xbox controller can power these. Something really low power or an inexpensive phone can still get really good sound out of these. Now, before I get into sound quality, I do want to show you what this comes with, and it comes with this gorgeous carrying case. I mean, even the carrying case looks amazing. It has a really nice feeling zipper, has this little hook on top if you want to attach it to the clip inside your bag. But it's shaped well to fit the headphone, so it's not taking up more space than it needs to. And then inside, it comes with this nice little pouch that has a zipper. I've seen some cases where it has like just that little mesh pocket. You stuff everything in, and over time that kind of wears out and things start falling out anyway. So it's cool to see that they have a self-contained pouch inside. Now you get two cords with the 99 Classic. You have a longer cord, which also comes with a 6.3 millimeter adapter or 1/4 inch for the US folks out there. And again, I mentioned the whole it being symmetric. This is a nice cable. It's a Kevlar enforced braided cable, and there's rubber where the split happens to go into your actual headphone. I found that the rubber was a nice touch because it got rid of any microphonics leading into the headphone itself. So if you're moving around at all, you shouldn't pick up the noise from the cable. It does a great job, and I think it looks beautiful, as is all the other stuff that they're doing with this headphone. Now there's also a shorter cable in the box that has a breakout with microphone included. So the plug on the end going into your source is TRRS, which is basically a combo port. So that'll work on a laptop that has a single headphone jack for both your mic and headphones. And it'll work on a phone as well because this does have a microphone built into it. The cable's shorter, and I found that it didn't negatively affect sound quality, at least for my ears. So if you just want to use a shorter cord, you can still do that with this. Just make sure that you're plugging it into something that accepts TRRS. All right, and this is what the Meze 99 Classic microphone sounds like. It's fairly dull, fairly subdued. It's not bright or sharp or anything like that, and it's a little bit on the quieter side. It also picks up some background noise, so I wouldn't use this as your primary mic for conference calls or podcasts or things like that. But if you're just jamming out on your phone and you get a phone call, you could still answer the call on this. There's also a little play pause button on the microphone itself, so it'll send that little pulse signal, if you will, to your phone to stop a track. So it's nice that it's included. Is it a class-leading thing? No, but it's just giving you a little bit more versatility. Now they also give you an airplane travel adapter, which I haven't seen in a long time. So I don't know if it's just because they just keep including it because they included it 7 years ago when it first came out, and that was a more popular thing. I wouldn't really use this personally anymore, but I think it's really cool that at least it's there, and it's so small that I can keep that in the pouch. So if I ever did travel and for some reason was on a plane that I needed to plug that into, I can certainly do that. You still get two nice little stickers, the circle and the rectangular one, and then your little user guide thank you card. So there's a lot in the box. Now it's time to talk about sound quality. So I already mentioned that these are easy to drive, but they're also very easy to listen to. The Meze 99 Classics have an elevated bass profile, and it does go into the mids a little bit, so it's going to warm up a lot of things that you're listening to. The bass lift or shelf isn't so strong that it's completely drowning out your mids and making things sound muddy. It also doesn't extend deep into the sub 30 hertz range, so if you like or dislike that, it's important to keep that in mind. And then overall, the treble picks up, but there aren't any really strong spikes in the upper frequency range. So while some things can sound a little bit more lifted over like a flat reference, it is closer to the Harman curve. It's just more pronounced in that range. Now I found that they weren't as bright. I don't want to say sibilant necessarily because it depends what you listen to. But when you compare it to something like the Sivga Robin, which has a really strong sub bass and then a scooped mid, so the vocals are more recessed, and then some things sound more crispy and detailed, so the micro retrieval could be better on this, but at the same time, some things are a little too grainy, a little too sibilant, and it's not as enjoyable. Whereas this is a safer tune. It may not always extract the most detail or micro dynamics if you're concerned about maximum detail retrieval that something like the Robin does, or if you compare it to Sennheiser 560S, this is more of your traditional like audiophile style sound where it has a lot of resolution and analytical clarity to it, but it can sound kind of sterile and it lacks some of the warmth and bass that some people like. And to some people, this might be a little too sharp or bright sounding. So I bring those up early because just because this doesn't have the most detailed retrieval isn't necessarily a bad thing. The way I pictured listening to the 99 Classics is, you've had a long week. You finally get to just sit and relax, kick back, and put on some of your favorite albums. And at this price range, what the 99 allows you to do is stop caring or paying attention to every little micro-analytical detail and just listen to the music and enjoy it. That can be a pro in some cases because some audio is not recorded in the best way. So depending on what you're listening to, this hides some imperfections in sounds, and it also gets rid of some of the sibilant issues. There are some tracks, and you look on the EDM and hip hop side, they can have really crappy recordings that can be shouty, really sharp spike treble, if you will, or treble spike, I should say. And this doesn't fully convey those issues, which makes it easy to listen to. I find that other headphones, I'm like, yeah, this song sounds great. Then I listen to the next song, I'm like, damn it, this song sounds pretty bad. So I have to switch headphones or change EQ. This is just like, jack of all trades, master at none type headphone if you're okay with a warmer sound down low. So I don't want to use its faults to necessarily say this is a bad headphone in any means, and I don't want to say that its strengths make it the best headphone for everybody, because if you are looking for a more clinical, analytical sound, this ain't it. I do enjoy listening to these a lot, though. I like listening to a lot of vocals on this. It sounds a little bit more rich. If you're concerned with the maximum detail retrieval on a string instrument, heavy acoustic listening, things like that, you may not get every single ring of that string that you're looking for. Those final extra vibrations in the string, they roll off earlier on the 99 Classic. But I found, like I said, it didn't matter what genre I picked. I could just play it and sit back and relax and enjoy the music. And then on the note, getting back into comfort, so that pretty much sums up the sound quality. I will say that on the soundstage and imaging side, these aren't class leading there as well. It's just like the way it takes on frequency response tuning. The soundstage is fairly narrow. This is a more intimate sounding headphone, so everything is kind of in the center of your head because the drivers aren't angled. It doesn't put the soundstage forward. You basically have dead center, and then you can easily pick up your left and right pans, but it's not like a class leading, every single thing is separated and textured. It pulls it all together in a smooth, cohesive presentation. And then when you couple that in with the comfort, because these basically have this really unique, fully pivoting ear cup design, they don't just go up, down, left, right. It's a spherical adjustment. This is the headphone you really don't have to think about in almost any regard. Because they fit, you just pick them up and put them on. Because of the way they sound, you can just listen to anything. Because they're easy to drive, you can plug it into anything. And I think that is the biggest strength of the 99 Classics, which even to this day still stands the test of time as a good and valuable headphone to consider in this price range, provided that these sound characteristics are what you're looking for. So that about wraps up the review of the 99 Classics. I hope I helped convey, some of the design philosophy, the comfort choices, and the way their sound tuning was. Now, Meze has a lot of different headphones in different price ranges that do different things, and they're obviously more expensive. The 109 Pros that just came out have a more open, airy soundstage, and it doesn't have the signature sound that this or the Empyrean or the Elites do. So take a look at their website if you want to learn more and see if maybe a different one better suits you and you still like the design and aesthetics of the Meze look. Because to me, it's a stunning headphone, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So with that being said, thank you so much for checking out this review. I hope you found it helpful. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you next time. Bye.